pampered by glamorous hostesses looking like Miss World 1967, serving all-you-could-eat caviar. Now, yes, everyone can afford to fly, but you'll be lucky if the hostess throws you a packet of pretzels. Suddenly the gist of it is sit there, sit down and shut up.
The special sort of horrible hostess treats you like complete swill. I mean, you know, one of those, you know, and they stride past you. They are completely unseeing.
And I don't like young air hostesses. I don't mind the gays, they're quite fun. But I do think there should be a team of air hostesses who are over 40. I don't believe in having air hostesses that are under 40. I really don't. You want matrons, you want sort of slightly fat women who are going to tell you not to be so silly.
Naturally, with all this glamour and excitement, men decided to get in on the act. So now we have male as well as female trolley dollies, but you can't please everyone.
You hear a lot of people complaining that male cabin crew are all gay these days. Well, I have a complaint, and that is that there are still some straight airline stewards. What are they doing as airline stewards? They're absolutely in the wrong job. You want to make a slightly loaded remark, a little bit of innuendo. You assume that the airline steward is gay and will understand. Suddenly this straight, who are you looking at me, Jimmy, sort of fellow looks back at you. Those people should be excluded from employment in airlines.
Chicken or beef? Pasta.
You get lucky, the plane takes off. You've been on the go since the middle of the night. No matter, the food arrives. Well, something arrives. You guessed, it's a bread roll, a piece of cheese, some dodgy hot stuff and a pudding with shaving cream on. The best you can say is that it will alleviate the boredom for about 2 minutes. Then guess what? The person in front of you decides to recline their seat into your face, literally. If you're unlucky enough to have to fly with a toddler on your lap, or worse still, be sitting next to someone else's toddler, the amount of room is beyond a joke. Presumably they think we're all contortionists. You're stuck, wedged in. If you weren't claustrophobic, you are now. Trouble is, if you're unlucky enough to be on a long-haul flight, whole chunks of your life will disappear like this into thin air. You're bored. You've had it up to here. You're going to be staring at the back of someone's seat in a sick bag for a good 12 hours, with only the refreshing towel left to look forward to. You might try to sleep. Try to.
They do seem to be making planes smaller, don't they? I mean, they're making these planes for long haul. Give them a little bit more room. They say about moving your legs. You can't move your legs, can you? You can't bloody move anywhere. Then, of course, you've got the bloke either side of you that falls asleep. So you're sitting there dying to go to the loo or dying to go and stretch your legs, and you're frightened you've got to wake him up to get out.
I'd say the maximum cut-off point for a flight before you lose your mind in economy is probably about 4.5 hours. So you can get to the sort of outer reaches of the Greek islands, maybe, from Britain, before things start to get really, really tough.
I don't mind what size, nationality, or anything about the person next to me. I don't mind. I'll sit next to anybody, but as long as they don't break wind on a long-haul flight.
Who wants to be that close to other people for that prolonged amount of time? I mean, it is a recipe for disaster, and I'm surprised there's not more air rage, to be honest. I mean, I think this can only get worse as a phenomenon because it is intensely horrible and stressful.
The concept of being able to eject fellow passengers, I think, is an excellent one, but having just given it a little bit more thought now, yes, the temptation to just want to fly alone and eject everybody.
As with everything, rich people throw money at the problem and dodge the system. Not for them slumming it in cattle class. They hire their own private jet. Nice work if you can get it. Probably called easy private jet.
The biggest mistake I ever made in my life was not to take private jets earlier. Well, private jet hire is very negotiable, actually. But I would say a normal return to Nice, going on one day, coming back a week later, would be between £18,000 and £20,000. First of all, I never take... People say, we'll pay half the fare and we'll come. I say, no, I don't want to pay half the fare. I'm paying full money to get away from people like you. I don't want people on the plane with me, people who may be late, people who have extra baggage. With a private jet, you go, say, I go mainly to Northolt, which is an RAF airfield. There's a tiny little lobby. You walk straight through to the plane and it takes off like a taxi.
What planet is he on? Some of us, if we're really, really lucky, or really, really famous, or we grovel till it's embarrassing, might get bumped up to the posh end. All this first-class nonsense anyway. How different can it be? Can't be that good up there, can it? Oh, it is. It looks like being in intensive care, but without being ill.
One of the awful things about airline travel is you usually enter the aeroplane through a door at the front, and you walk through the first class and see the palace that these people are travelling, and then you walk through business class and see the comfort in which these people are travelling, and then you get into the cattle section of the plane where you're going to sit, and then, to add insult to injury, they pull a little curtain closed so that the people in economy class can't actually see the others living it up in first class and business class. I make a point of pushing the curtain back again whenever I can.
It's so different that it's shocking that in X amount of feet of tin that's hurtling bizarrely through the sky, there can be, abject misery down the back end and a blissful world of relaxation and pampery massages and light banter with helpful staff and really quite nice food and champagne on tap.
I have to go first class to the Caribbean because a private jet there and back is about £300,000. Even I balk at that. And you do your best. You suffer bravely. You sit with other people.
So it's always nice if you go that way on the plane and not that way. But then once you've been that way, it's hard to go back to that way, isn't it?
It's heavenly. It is a mini holiday before you've even got there.
I did once do a flight to Australia where you got in, you turn, whichever direction it is that's posh, up the stairs, and then you're in this first class lounge thing, and it's like you're in an armchair. And that's the difference, really, I think, when you crash in first class, it's like crashing in a nice, comfortable armchair, whereas if you crash in standard, you're crashing in a deck chair, and it's really going to hurt your face.
I have once or twice been paid to go, someone else has paid for the ticket and I've gone first class. God, that is a different experience. But I did get downgraded once, actually. We were put in first class on this sort of freebie and they went, oh no, you go back with the plebs. So that was lovely.
Once I did get upgraded into first class, not just business class. Oh, bloody hell, it's a different experience there. I was lying out on a sort of crimson barge with teams of blonde women offering me unguents, and it was marvellous, and champagne and truffles, and then people offering you head massages. It was just, there seemed to be about 10 people just attending to me. Oh, it was marvellous. I could spend my whole life on a plane if it was like that. Alas, though, I then had to change at Los Angeles, got back down in the rubbish where I belonged.
You thought the journey was bad, but get there and you're grumpier than you would be sitting at home by the fire, or even in the office. Holidays. Who needs them?
You fancy a boot before bedtime? Have a few. Stacked is next.